The castle siege was a lot of fun, because it was the first siege where my guild was part of a 4-guild alliance on a server that had actual strong PvP 4-guild alliances. I didn't want to just upload raw footage of the whole siege, because there was a lot of downtime grouping up and me dying like a potato, so I'm just going to go over the whole siege and narrate our plans and ideas. After Nyx disbanded, half of us transferred to Lightbringer and joined Lunar Eclipse. It took a few weeks to actually rebuild the guild, recruit active players, and actually find 3 like-minded guilds to form an alliance. Few days before the siege, we joined up in an alliance with Troya, Vaka Clan and Tempest, and we were up against Failure Alliance, who were the owners of the castle and the only alliance that won every single siege, Disaster Alliance and few other high-skilled PvP guilds like Yap and Clowns. The goal was simple: win the castle and dethrone Failure. But to do that, first we needed high attendance, and after extensive recruiting, we were able to bring 270 out of possible 280 players to the siege. Initially we wanted to take control of the Siege Ruins 1 and push an alliance that was set up there. Half of them went to the sewers, but I guess they didn't watch the weather report because it started raining exactly at 8:15 when the siege began. Not even 2 minutes into the siege, the main gate was already open, either by attacking players or it wasn't an inside job. Our whole alliance stormed the gates and claimed the castle wall resurrection point. Shortly after, we pushed and claimed the central resurrection point, while a disaster alliance was set up above the residential pillage zone, waiting for a play to be made to open the gates and claim dungeon resurrection point. We realized it won't be possible to just open inner gates and storm, so we went back outside castle walls to claim the gatecrusher golem so we can break down the inner gates. It took us about 10 minutes of skirmishing in the castle and waiting for gates to be broken, but after the gate broke, we started instantly storming inner walls, but the choke was literally impossible to break through. 10 more minutes of trying to break the defenses, but it simply didn't work. Then a quad summon gate was called on top of the inner walls, so instead of trying to go through the main inner gate choke, we went around to the dungeon pillage zone, ignored everyone and ran straight into the throne room. We wiped everyone inside the throne room, claimed the throne and had to protect the usurper for 3 minutes. Even with a close respawn, Failure Alliance simply couldn't break through our front line while the usurper was hiding in the back corner, and as soon as 3 minutes have passed, our alliance became the owners, meaning we also got castle respawn point, so we simply wiped everyone in the throne room and calmly managed to set up both choke points. We had to hold the throne room for 20 minutes and we knew it was going to be hard, especially since castle resurrection point bugged out and it didn't work, because when we died, we respawned outside the walls, so we had to press B to teleport back onto the castle respawn. Kinda weird bug that's existed forever, and it's even weirder that it wasn't fixed yet. We set up our tanks at the front of each choke with Belandir's sword and shield for pulls, all the ranged players behind them and all the melee players even more back. The plan was simple: spam the chokes with bows and staffs while melee players hold the back in case some stealthy dagger players sneak through. And it worked to perfection, where our staff and both players simply had a field day with the free farming, knowing that the majority of the opposing alliance players all had stacked melee evasion. And let me tell you, melee evasion in sieges will get you insta-killed, since spears can't really do much anyways in situations where you have to protect the throne room. When you play objective as a spear player, instead farming kills outside, you won't get many kills, as most of my 30-ish kills came from random skirmishing before we took the throne. Both alliances were able to coordinate simultaneous pushes on the main choke and side choke, but we were able to hold and completely wipe them multiple times. They were able to cap the throne a few times, but the usurper was killed really fast. We held it perfectly for the whole 20 minutes, but they finally managed to break through in the last 2 minutes and completely overrun the throne room, usurping the throne. First, the Failure usurper was killed by Disaster, and it was instantly usurped by the Disaster Alliance, pushing it into overtime. We had 2.5 minutes to kill the usurper and we would win. It took us almost a minute to fully wipe players around them and finally finish the usurper off, which instantly meant we won the siege and dethroned the Failure Alliance. On the screen you can see the results of the siege, with Yap and Clowns holding the top 2 kill ranks. And before somebody says that Yap and Clowns were our shadow allies, they were not. They were allied together at the start, but during the siege they broke their alliance so they could fight each other, farm kills and take pillage points. But if someone says that they were farming Disaster and Failure at respawn points and they were our shadow allies, all I have to say is that a 4-guild alliance got farmed by a single guild, which is kinda embarrassing they weren't able to deal with that one guild. Overall, I really enjoyed the siege, not because we managed to win, of course this adds to it, but because I was simply enjoying all the melee evasion players getting absolutely melted by staffs and bows. Kinda nice to see a little bit of a meta shift in a different type of PvP large scale content. I didn't have many kills, but I don't play for kills, I play for objectives and I listen to the calls. And when you do that, you win. Let me know in the comments how your castle siege went. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.
13, and this is our fucking castle.
Good job.
Guys.
Fucking G!
Awesome.
GG.
GG.
Easy. Damn,
Woo.
guys. Awesome. Fucking awesome place.
Oh my
You
God,
guys
I
are
had-
legends.
Picture
Fucking
like
legends.